Very strong open into the gap. Well, we'll see if it eventually gap fills, but it doesn't really, not seeing much here. SPX is headed down after hitting 560. 560. It's pretty close to the ES VWAP there. YM's headed up. Everything seems to be coordinated up here, surprisingly. We opened at 558. I gotta adjust my straddles by 8 points. All right. Straddle adjusted. As always, looking for a gap fill to start this off. Hey, Koshik. It looks like we rejected ES VWAP. I was in a trade at around after 8:35. More so after the 8:40 candle. And then, but I took off the funded account early, and I just left the eval. Well, I took one eval off right before the open, and then I just left one eval on for legends. Yes, high time frame looks bearish. Ooh, let me check. What's your higher time frame? Are you saying 15, 1 hour, 4 hours, or 1 day? Take a quick look here. I'm gonna see what I see on the 1 day. NQ looks particularly heavy, but everything looks like range consolidation on the daily, that is. Oh man, this does not look good. Maybe I should have taken profit at VWAP like I initially said I would, but on those on the one eval. But I just kind of let it run, so I'm okay with it. I can only have a total of 5 funded anyways, and currently I'm at 4 with legends. Yeah, this is starting to look pretty bearish. 30-minute? Okay. Let me take a look. So I really like the SMT at the bottom on the 5 minutes. I guess is the overnight low day. We basically got like a 15 or 30-minute SMT at the lows there. ES did the second sweep while NQ did not, and that was the reason why I wanted to go long. It took a long time to like truly play out though. My initial goal was to get VWAP, but I cut out my funded pretty early, thinking that we could retrace prior to open, but instead it looks like we retrace after hitting VWAP. Yeah, and I really like the 30-minute to the upside because of that bottom wick SMT that you got at the 8:30 candle, essentially. Or is it 8 o'clock candle on the 30 minutes? As always, I like a gap fill. I'll be looking to play along into that gap fill. Gaps have been filling all week long, so just matters where you take it, I guess. $75.60. $75.60 is the centroid for today from Alma's outlook. Oh, damn. I just read that 75.60 could be reversion-ish, and that it did, which lined up perfectly. SPX 75.60 lined up perfectly with ES's VWAP. So reversion made a lot of sense. To the downside, you have a divergence too. ES did not take out the previous day low, whereas NQ did take out the previous day low. So we could still see that previous day low level. Towards the downside, things get quite sticky from a gamma perspective. Like positive gamma, ton of positive gamma. At the downside pivot, or close to the downside pivot, 75.32. Straddle's been adjusted. based on the open. Straddle was 30 points. If we do get a gap fill, I'll try a short, just as like a reversion play. I'm expecting like a low vol type of day. Like no crate. Well, by that I mean we're just ranging again, similar to what we did yesterday. I'll be reactive today. No pre-bias. Okay. Yeah. And I think that's completely fair. That's we seem to be stuck in this range. So that makes a lot of sense. And a low vol day also makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that eval is about to take an L. Yep, it totally did take an L. I'm not too worried about it because I can't have more than 5 accounts anyways. And I have one that's also close to passing. Downside pivot 75.32. I don't believe that to be reversionish. Target is very supportive and sticky. 7,500 is a local support. 7,500 is way down there though, so I would consider that like a intraday trend down day if we head down there. Pivot is very sticky and the strongest magnet below the centroid and above 7,500, 7,490. Okay. Oh yeah, you got the sweep. You got the resweep of the sweep. I kind of want to see NQ take out its weekly lows, which is Monday's lows. I also noticed that NQ did not take out Friday's highs. Okay, so there is NQ. And its weekly levels. Almost at its weekly levels. Super close there. Yeah, I like previous day low too. On ES, that is. Yeah. And I do like there's a chance that we bounce off the weekly lows here. And there's not a lot there. On NQ. Pull back for continuation down. Alright, so NQ just swept it by like maybe a point. And then something worth noting on NQ, this edge of node here, 29,392, was pretty much the low of yesterday. We're pretty darn close to it anyways. And that was like a edge of node that I had drawn out ages ago. And it's still reactive to today. Just kind of insane. I don't know what this is. Yeah, like edge of node to edge of node. That was yesterday's high to yesterday's low. It's kind of amazing how well that works. Especially in a rangy market, right? Still waiting around here. A little bit of SMT. I don't know if this is going to hold. For NQ, I would definitely look towards this level here. There's like a little pocket there. But we could definitely overrun and visit this. So I'm not front running anything. So I'm watching this little pocket here. That's between 205 and 250. And then I would definitely be watching the 150 to 200 zone too. And hopefully it sets up like a decent candle. There's the downside pivot on SPX. 7532. That's the bottom end of the negative dealer strike cluster. Just so you have a look here. So we could be due for a bounce. But I'm gonna wait for NQ to see what it does. And on the daily, it's the peak gamma trough. Definitely watching it. At best, I think it's just a quick bounce. I still want to see NQ lower. Okay, there's the quick initial bounce. Yeah, that was that would have been a good play. There's no candle set up for me. Damn. 10 points. Quick and easy. That's insane. That was the daily gamma trough, which is the green line. The downside pivot that Alma identified. And the edge of the negative strike cluster. It's kind of perfect for a bounce up. See, and then here's the this is the gamma peak at 7532. The green line here. Dang. Maybe it was worth a shot. A little bit of 1 minute SMT. Yeah. Missed that opportunity there. If NQ had gotten a little bit lower, I would have liked that much more. Like if it got into the 200 to 250 range. And that was so close to its previous day low. And it's pretty that one made it a little difficult. Damn. I'm just watching this thing go now. From SPX 32 to 45, 46. And that was the NQ sweep too. I just wanted to see it go a little bit lower for more juice upwards. And SPX was at like a little trend line support there too. A lot of confluence. I still don't know that I believe this to be a sustained move up for the gap fill. I don't think so, but it was a really good bounce, scalp bounce type of thing. I had nothing on that, so such a shame. All right, so there's that first test of that level on NQ there. Just the edge of it. Value area low from that day is 190. 190, yeah, 190. A little bit of SMT here. I'm getting real tempted. But it's a 10-point stop loss, so I'm going to have to size down if I do. We got news at 10. Let me see. 10. Pending home sales. Okay, nothing crazy. Kind of very annoyed that I missed my initial trade there. I didn't make a decision on time. Yes. I think I'm going to try this. Give it 10 points. Yeah, I got in at 85.25 on ES. I'm still not convinced that we're headed up, but NQ did reach my level. I still want to see a gap fill. So my target's going to be up there towards a gap fill. What is the gap fill? Where are we at now? 45? 45 to about 70. So 25 points. 25 points. Yeah, I won't be going for the full gap fill, but this is a tough one. Okay, okay, let's go. Let's go, let's go. Eight, 5. At VWAP, I'll take off one account. That's the hope anyways. There's like a 5-minute fair value gap near there. 95. 1 hour close doesn't look too bad though. 9.8. 9.5, 9.8. Okay, I took one off. That was at the 5-minute fair value gap there. I'm gonna leave one on. Closer to the gap fill. I just don't trust that we're at the low of the day on ES, which is why I just can't carry a bunch of accounts. Okay, that makes it, this is 1R. I close slightly below 1R. For that one account. I'm going to try to keep this one for gap fill. I mean, higher day would be good too. Back to the 7561 centroid. Let me take a look at this. The gamma trough is at the gap fill. So that would make for a decent rejection play to some degree. Alma's upside pivots up there. Reasonable confluence. And no real news, no wash. Few Fed speakers to speak later this afternoon. Yeah, I'm gonna hang on to this one. I'll be right back. Gotta run downstairs for some water. I'll be right back. Okay, I'm back. That's VWAP again there. Moment of truth. 75.60 is a huge zone there. We can get above it. I like this to gap fill. Yeah, the 930 profit. 930 highs as a TP. I agree. And that would be Alma Centroid too, which she said could be reversionish. And we did revert off of it already. And there's like a pretty large, like, I say large, I mean that relatively. There's like that's like the peak negative dealer positioning in this cluster that I was watching. And if I had the nuts to take this trade at 75.30, 75.32 around there, it would have made so much sense based on my how I read the market anyways. So like, see, 75.32 positive, the peak gamma trough is there, and then ride it to gap fill, which is up here at the peak gamma, or what did I say? Peak gamma? Yeah, okay, peak gamma at 75.32, and then the gamma trough, which is like the lowest point of the positive gamma, closer to gap fill at 75.73. I don't think I'm going to be able to hold beyond the centroid there. Like, this is good profits to collect. It'll be pretty darn close to 20 points if we sweep the highs there. I'm back at break even, by the way. Or just like 1 tick, 2 ticks above break even, something like that. Because I'm a discretionary trader, I find that talking through what I see pushes me to enter the trade. And then I also have to remind myself, why am I not entering this trade if I'm not entering? All right, I cut it there. But I think this bust through. I think it breaks through because of the gap fill. And then after gap fill, we might get a short opportunity. That's what I'm thinking. I don't know how many points the short will give. The 1 hour close also made me think, like, since I was already in the trade anyways, that that I should hold, because it was like a positive close and pretty much a doji candle. Yeah, 75.70 looks like a good resting point. 75.70. But yeah, I don't want to push my luck with the position there. And as you said, it's a good TP, and I completely agree. Anything above that, I'd be betting on a gap fill, which in theory, my read was always gap fill. So but it's hard to say no to, what's that, like 18 points on ES. 18 points. Yeah, about 18 points. Just under 18. Yeah, just under 18 points. And it gave like a decent SMT too at the lows there. I just thought that the previous day low, like we could overrun the levels that I was monitoring and instead like wick towards the previous day low and then close above the level that I was tracking at 75.32. Previous day low was 75.27. So it's only like another 5 points lower. But today it seems like ES did not want to go down. Let's see what Alma said here. So hanging out this centroid here, but I think we're gonna head up. YM is actually headed down here, so it looks like NQ is the driver of price. Of price action on ES, that is. But another 10 more points for the gap fill. Yeah, my initial take profit was like around 76.10. I think I set at 76.14 initially, and then I was like, 76.10 is good. And I was like, if it should run towards 76.10 like on a blip, I'll get it without having to wait, and I'm golden while I go grab water. But I mean, if it doesn't, then it doesn't, and it'll be a slow drift towards that centroid and probably hang out there. But I decided to take it off at of that centroid that Alma identified, which is also 70, this 75-60 area that this thing has to likely grind out. So largest dealer negative position within the cluster, but it looks like 75.35 is actually growing right now. So a lot of vol selling both ways. 7600, 7610. I think we're capped today at 7600, 7610. Should we decide to run up towards, if we even run up that far, I think we're capped there. Very grindy stuff here. NQ looks like it's taking a break here. Rejected off VWAP. Maybe a quick rundown for another run up, just to give NQ enough juice. Or sorry, just to give ES enough juice to gap fill. But yeah, I mean, I'm having a hard time reading NQ on a higher time frame though. It just looks like a triangle wedge. This wedge broke. So that wedge is no more. Yeah, I really like that. The confluence was so good at the lows there. Like NQ basically wicking off the top end of this box, which we were talking about, like this little low LVN, this little low value node. Okay, so that was the 5-minute VI volume imbalance there on NQ. I'm not sure how to read this here. Besides grinding out that 75-60 level on the dealer short strike. Okay. NQ looks like after the volume imbalance tap there, it might be time to give ES some juice through NQ. Or maybe not. Pivot for ES stays 7600. As said in the weekly, first upside resistance is at 7630. And above this, reversion can be expected. 76. So we're at 7600 right now, plus 30. 7560 plus 30. Okay, 260 to 90. 90 would be a new high of day. And that would be roughly straddle high. Interesting. The downside 7570, 7560 is the downside pivot, and where I'm still a buyer on ES. But if it breaks, market will go to 7510 or 20. Downside protection is very expensive. That's why they short it. Yeah, downside protection is very expensive. You want to collect premium on that expensive option. Makes a lot of sense, yeah. Based on my code, main trade is to sell ODTE SPXW 7645. Main trade is to sell ODTE 7645 7745 call credit spread. Wow. That's insane. I mean, it's like almost 100% winner, because on SPX you're never expecting, you will not expect SPX to hit 7645 today. So ODTE SPX Iron Condor 7450 and 7645 100 wide. Credit's about 10.9 points. Yeah, that's unreal. I like how Alma's given trade ideas for premium sellers anyways. I also like that she said she's a buyer at 7570-ish on ES. 7570, 7560. She's a buyer. But we didn't quite go that low. We ended up at 75.75. Five-minute volume imbalance held on NQ there. Almost to the tick, actually. Yeah, actually, it was to the tick. Holy cow. And now, yeah, it looks like my TP would have hit. My initial TP at 14, 76.14 on ES would have hit. But I would have had to sit through a little bit of consolidation there. Yeah, so I would like to look for a short around here. But my concern is if we hang around here for a little too long, it could mean we're going to break to the upside and just grind up slowly towards 7,600. Just based on gamma alone. And 7,600 was there prior to open, and it got even larger in sizing intraday. So there's definitely going to be some sort of influence there. So I'm just going to be cautious here. And from here to 75.75, I'm going to be cautious. And cautiously looking for a short. But it really depends on what price action kind of does. I'd consider this to be gap fill. Now we're at the edge. 75.70 is also the edge of the negative strike cluster currently. There's nothing here. Oh my goodness. Oh, sorry, Koshik. Oh, very, very boring day for you. Just seeing this message. Sorry about that. Yeah, I think that long was. I don't know why it was so. Well, I think we kind of touched on why it was so hard to take that long, even though I had so many things working to my advantage that I find as my own edge, as a discretionary trader, that is. Um, with previous day low not sweeping, like I couldn't, like I found it hard to slam more accounts. Like I got 2 accounts, but only one really sat through for almost a full TP, right? So that's the tough part. But to me, that like all the confluence that I was getting there, if I didn't pay attention to the previous day low, that thing would have been like an A+ trade. I would have been in all accounts. My entry was an A+. Like in theory, my entry should have been exactly where I found all that confluence. So I missed out on 10 points, I think. Yeah, it was about 10 points. That was my stop loss. 10 points. Um, 5 minutes. That was a hard confirmation too. And to be fair, when did this? Yeah. Yeah, I think that was a hard one on the 5 minutes to take. What's happening here? This is brutal. Like, this makes me think that we could head up based on how much we're like chopping around here. We're really grinding out this level. $15-minute closed interesting, but I mean, we're still headed up here. The only way I would consider a short is if something 5 minutes setup with the idea of 5 minute on ES with the idea. So let's see this sweep here of the 515 level. That's what I want to see. And then see if the 5 minute sets up anything to the short side at this level. A little bit of SMT between SPX and ES. But that might not hold. There's still like 3 minutes left on this candle. But let's see if we can get that sweep. If we get that sweep, great. And hopefully something sets up on the 5 minute. So the 15-minute ends up looking like a doji with one of those. Let's see, how do I draw here? Magic. What's magic? I want to try magic. Oh no, I don't know what magic is. I'm not going to mess around with it right now. But how do I draw? Yeah, anyways, this is how I want a 15-minute to close. But there's still a lot of time on the 15 minutes. Clearly, I don't draw enough to know. Icons, text. Keep drawing. No, damn it. Oh, here. Paintbrush. Yeah, I want to see something like this. Oh, that was so ugly. This is the worst drawing of my life. What is happening? Brutal. Let's undo this. Like, I want a candle to close something like this on the 15-minute with a wick above this level here would be golden. So the wick, this is the wick. I know it's a really, oh wait, I'm not showing the, oh, you're already in shorts. This might be good. This might be good. I wanted to wait for the oh wait, the 5-minute did set up. Oh, thanks, Koshik. Here I am trying to draw. Bro, you should have got my attention. I was trying to draw what I was hoping to see, which is a 15-minute candle that looks something like this. A decent 5-minute close or a short. Oh, baby, let's go. Let's go. Nice, Koshik. I wasn't looking at that 5-minute. I was waiting for a 5-minute signal, and that was a high volume candle there. That was perfect. And the 15-minute looks like it is moving in my direction, the way that I want to see it move. Yeah, I entered really late, so if I went break even, I'm gonna get screwed big time. It's about a 5.6 point stop loss for me. So it's nothing that will upset me. But yeah, all that effort. God dang. I should have been paying attention. And the we were talking about the ES SPX divergence too. This should be good. But I worry that we're not going to move below the centroid. I really do want to see a move below the centroid. Yeah, if I entered at a better moment, I would have went break even too. But my break even stop loss would definitely hit. Instead of break even, close half. Ooh, nice. So good. So it's a break even trade regardless. I like it. I like that a lot. Come on, at least run to VWAP. $600, yeah, 600 I think is around VWAP. 595 would be nice. Come on, break it down right here, baby. YM is pushing up here while NQ is headed down. So being very cautious here. That's the 15-minute fair value gap on NQ. I think I'm comfortable going break even now. On my end anyways. Come on, we gotta go down a little bit more. No? 600. Come on, just a little bit further. 75.60. All right, my break even will probably be hit. This sucks. Yeah, this is how I wanted to see the 15-minute close. But the trade did go 1R for me. Yeah, that was a 15-minute fair value gap bounce on NQ. Come on, just come a little bit lower. But I'm pretty sure the my break even stop loss is gonna hit. Very poor entry, so it doesn't give me an opportunity to see this. 76.10. I wonder if 76.10 will retest. Market is denying me. There it goes. Yeah, if my entry was much better, I think it would give me a chance to stay in till about 76.11. 76.10 looked like it was going to retest because of that 1 minute fair value gap, right? Yeah, that 5-minute close sucks. Odyssey? Nice. You're seeing that in movie theaters? That's gonna be 3 hours, right? Minimum 3 hours. Oh man, I didn't even know it was out. But that should be a good one. Oh man. I have a problem. I still want to short here, but market said I did well enough this week, so it didn't want to give me any more. So I'm not going to mess around with it. Yeah, kind of 15-minute looks okay. And taking half off was kind of perfect for you. Because it gives you an opportunity to see out this trade. For better or worse, but at least it's break even. I also have no idea what the Odyssey is about. But that's common for me with Christopher Nolan movies. And then once I find the time to watch it, it's like, whoa, okay. I don't know why I wasn't more hyped about it before. And then you oftentimes need to watch it like 3 times in order to make sense of it. To see what Easter eggs you miss. Things that he kind of like little trinkets that he leaves behind for you. Yeah, look at that. See how you're able to stay in the trade? Just messing around here. Seems to be about Greek mythology. Interesting. Yeah, look at this. Look at this, dude. Very nice trade. Very nice trade. Yeah, that sounds good. It looks like it. At the very least, you should get 7,600, and that was my initial take profit. I just wasn't willing to. It was a bad entry on my part, which didn't allow me to see the rest of the trade. Even then, it was like only like 5 points stop loss. But it was enough to mess with my psyche to not hold the trade. Yep, there you go. Yeah, that was a pretty trade. Very pretty trade. I wish I stayed in. Oh, really? That's so funny. I mentioned it right when you were considering the trade, because at the time the 5 minute had not closed yet, and then the moment the 5 minute closed, well, I missed the 5 minute close, but as soon as the 5 minute close, that's when what confirmed it. But we like I was trying to, well, I think I mentioned it at the very least, that said, hey, yeah, the SMT is there between SPX and ES, but there was still 2-3 minutes left on the candle, so it's unconfirmed yet. And then once the candle closed, it was perfect. $602, yeah, that's pretty good. It's very choppy here. Like the fact that it came back up and hit me, I feel like it's constantly doing that. But that was a good trade, very good trade, good entry too. I was too busy trying to draw what a 15-minute candle would look like for me to enter, or where. Actually, I think I was saying like, or what I was trying to say was 5 minute close, along with the potential of the 15-minute headed down in order to close red. And the 5 minute close was so perfect. Looks like we're headed right back down towards like 75.40 or something on SPX. 75.45. There's an SMT with SPX. It generally moves full range. So let's see if we reach lower day. That would be shocking. But I like a move for like another 10 points at least. I will not enter though, because that's a fool's game. Well, unless I want to blow up an eval or something. That could be fun. There's one eval, I'm like about a G down. So I only have about a G left. Or 1K, sorry. And then there's one eval where I'm about 1K close to passing. And with the evals, I tend to like take two contracts, which is very different from what I would typically take on a funded or on a live account. And tomorrow's OpEx. So it's going to make for some more funky price action. Yeah, it doesn't hurt to try with that with that one eval account.
I'll break down where this is coming from. You guys have another call, but it's a lot of right? Just sitting there. They build up a lot of range. This happened in March quarter, for example, where a lot of them were higher than as the percent of the right? So that's kind of happened now. That's where all this long lot of you guys probably pay attention to the commentary from others as well. You're probably seeing people claiming that there's unclench after OpEx. Just know that the actual data, proper data, shows that more often than not, the unclench is more of an increased clench. So if there's some sort of volatility that's coming ahead of this week, it's not because I'll explain more maybe next week, fixed expiration, but the real edge lies in fixed expiration effect. Correlations there, and what we care about is whether this kind of manifests. So again, if you're reading other commentaries, just know that it's not an OpEx related thing necessarily. It's more of a normal thing, and then it comes to the SPX position by way of ban. So my thesis might look strange to you guys, especially when we see the next week, right? What it is. For today, just know that these are difficult days to get right. I don't often try to deal with my trading into OpEx cycles because there's tension of opposites. We have charm down on overall profile behind this. There's charm down in July. But then again, you have charm up now on the intraday profile clearly. And then you additionally have vol coming off, right? So vol dropped significantly sometime after 10 o'clock. That corresponded clearly higher. Now that said, that I would expect the vol to go lower. Probably also indicate that probably charm that's about best 16.5 probably should expect to sustain. And then next week we expect that charm down fixed off and snap back. As far as today goes, it's still tough on the gap now, of course, because we actually did cross through that level. 75 double was my best level for I thought we probably did over 45, but less 5 forward lines of balance there. Now did that actually trade 75 forward last level. In the morning, actually, the market's pretty active. So oftentimes there's just sort of a number for balance. Even Tesla or even balance Tesla. See, this is too early to call prediction. I do just pay attention to how market behaves long levels. I'm looking at 75, 55 as the best overall. Again, you know my opinion about trade positions, even though we have sort of a charm profile. I think that sometimes these positions break or don't have as much correlation as expiring, which still should a little more biased. So again, the risk here is that all and that then related pressure is quite nice, whereas the effects of are not strong enough. Straddle higher days to go. So keep that in mind. I'll follow up sometime next year with more commentary relevant this evening. Actually, and decide not great notes. I'll be tied up a little this afternoon, but this evening I'll come back with some complex thoughts. I'll share some details on the July position, the entire position, and some surprising things to think about. Again, the big one is that we really don't have much. We actually don't have much harder because more family often kind of down this realize. And there's anomalies there, some pretty big anomalies, notable ones, but those are obvious. And that's now for the prediction that you can get long and slow unclench theory from that angle are hedging. The reason to do so is that
Oh no, that's pretty quiet for the last 5 minutes. I was just listening to something that Vol Signals put out in his Discord. All right, looks like upside now. That eval got destroyed. Eight, 77. 77. I'll go 8, 5. What a pump. Yeah, I don't think today's going to get any more interesting, to be honest. So for Odyssey, would you tomorrow, if you're watching it tomorrow, by the time that market opens tomorrow and we're on stream, would you have already watched it? Wow. What a crazy move there. Oh, you're watching it at 10 p.m. today. Oh, man. That's a pretty early movie, right? Like, is that what, like noontime? Almost noon? I forget what the time difference is. Eight a.m. Holy cow. That's a early movie. Your movie theaters are open at 8 a.m.? That's fair enough. Wow, what a crazy move there. I don't think there's like, I don't know that there's any movie theaters here that opens up at 8 a.m. They're often, I think the earliest, they're normally open at 10. But it's normally for special occasions, I believe. But generally they're open at around noon, like lunchtime. Malls open at 10, but theaters can open at any time they want. Yeah, malls open at 10 a.m. here too. 8 a.m. to 1:30. Holy cow. Eight to 10 screens, yeah. Yeah, that sounds about right. I think over here, depending on the movie theater, yeah, you're looking at around 8 to 10 screens for like the smaller ones, and then the larger ones have like maybe 18 screens. Some has actually the one that had 30 closed down, so that one was massive. Yeah, man, that should be a really good one. Trying to decide if this is going to go up towards 75.75, which is about 10 points higher here. I think that's where it wants to go. I can see this chopping around for a bit first though. 75.75, but ultimately I would like to see us run towards 75.90. The longer we stay here, that's generally where I think it's going to go. 75.90-ish. Just based on that dark blue positive gamma area that could act as a magnet. But right now it's all pure chop. Not really willing to risk anything here, though. Yeah, I'm not in favor. Like, I can't figure out if this is gonna go up, but everything seems to be pointing up to me. But just based on chop alone, we can probably chop down to maybe like back to 75.92 ish on ES, 75.92 before going up. Like, there's no rules with chop, right? But in general, everything is pointing up to me. Yeah, I let the one eval go to max loss, so it's done. That was the one where I was holding for, I think I was holding for a long for the most part. That I probably should have taken off at VWAP at 9:30, but I did not, and I took a stop loss there at the low day, and then I took a short at the worst spot at around 7,600, just for the heck of it. Because I figured this account was like unrecoverable at that point, so I just kind of blew it up. I mean, if it went, it went, but if it didn't, then I wasn't going to be upset with it regardless. Then I have two evals that are in the works. One is about 1K away. The other one hasn't been traded at all. And I was hoping to pass one of them, so that way I get the max funded account with Legends. And the Lucid account that I have funded is about, well, I think I haven't really touched it after taking that loss earlier in the week. So I was just gonna still gotta mess around with it, but I was waiting for something that was really high probability that I would like. There's like a 5-minute SMT that happened there. This 15-minute closes. YM did nothing after sweeping its previous day high. In the last 15-minute candle, it did that. Pulled back a little, but still hovering around the high of the day on YM. NQ still doing its, just hovering around POC for the most part. Very defined range. The YM seems to be heavier here. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow. You enjoy your movie, man. I think I'm gonna cut out too. But you can't spoil the movie for me. I might watch it like in about a year when it ends up on a streaming platform. And I can watch it over 3 or 4 or 5 days, whatever it might be. Enjoy. Have a good one, man. Really stuff here. Very ugly price action. $75.50. Yeah, I can see this coming down. It's really ugly stuff.